Hello and thanks for checking out this video. My name is Zach and I'm a recent graduate of NYU's MS in Business Analytics and AI program. And I get questions all the time about what my experience was like in the program and is it for you, is it for me? So I wanted to make a video sharing my thoughts about why I chose NYU, what it was like, and just my general feelings having graduated now 6 months into the program. So a little more about myself. I am a older student. I started the program when I was 40, and I am also a career changer. My background is I previously have a bachelor's in hospitality management and then another bachelor's in computer science. I worked for Marriott Hotels for over 7 years. I ran my own wedding photography company as an Indian wedding photographer, videographer for over a decade as an entrepreneur. Then, after going back to school for that computer science degree, I joined IT consulting. So I was at Capgemini as a consultant doing project management and business analyst work. And then I joined Wipro, which is another IT consulting company doing HR program management. So I've done a lot of things over the course of my career so far. And I chose NYU to just take my skills to the next level up my existing knowledge, and really bring a more critical lens to data-driven decision making. So that was my background and why I joined NYU and why I decided to pursue a master's. But more importantly, I guess the question of why NYU in general. For one thing, I live in New York, so it's a strong regional school, and it's NYU. So it's not just a strong regional school, living and working around New York City. It's also a global brand. So that was a big draw for me. It's a global brand because the world-class professors, the highest levels of research, the highest standards in the program, that the NYU name as a brand on your resume really gives you that kind of halo effect, like working for maybe a big tech company, that you've passed a certain bar to join NYU and complete a degree. You've done the rigor, you've passed at least their bars. So that, degree worthiness is really evident in NYU, and I really wanted that for myself. And considering other schools that are also top name, not to talk about other schools, there's a lot of other schools in the New York region, and I tell people this, that maybe if you wanted to stay in California, stay in Silicon Valley, maybe you want to work at go to a California school, a state school there, which are also great because it's again regionally known. But as I said, NYU is a global brand. We had people in our cohort from California that went over here to New York to do the degree. And that's not to say anything else about the international students we had. So our cohort was very international. We had people flying in from Japan, South Africa, everywhere, Latin America, to come to NYU to learn from the best in the best location. So that's the other reason, the NYU name. But then speaking of the travel, which is the hybrid format. So this was a huge draw for me, was the hybrid format. Having done my Bachelor's of Science in Computer Science totally online and graduating into COVID when I was doing that most recent career change before this, the online format, while great, it requires dedication to do all your studying, learn all the material, especially concepts like data structures and algorithms. And I really wish that we had those in-person sessions to hash out problems and talk things through. That yes, at the time Zoom was okay and our Slack channels were really active to discuss things, but that in-person bond that you'll form with a cohort of students as you go through something together, yeah, the in-person experience just can't be beat, to learn not just from the professors and hear them in person giving the lectures, but also to learn from our classmates and build that alumni network. So that was the thing. And then the hybrid format in general. So it's in person, but I didn't want to go to in person full time. As I mentioned, as an older student, I have a job, a family. I didn't want to be in class for a whole year, and some of these other programs for maybe 2 years doing a master's degree. So the 1 year accelerated format and the hybrid of 3 days of pre-work, 1 week in class, and 3 days of post-work was really fit my schedule, my lifestyle, and the program itself achieved my needs and goals of what I wanted to get out of a master's program. So you really need to be sure of, again, why are you doing this? Do you want to learn just management? So is an MBA better for you? Which are again usually 2 years. Or do I want to go even deeper into a technical side? So maybe a master's in data science or statistics if you really love the algorithm side. But if you're like me and you want to see the business side of the data, really combining those two areas, that's where I think this program shines. So it's data-driven decision making. You'll understand what the algorithms are doing. You'll understand what analysts are telling you. And you can do the work yourself if you want. A lot of people in the program, myself included, are currently went into analyst roles as opposed to a management role. But it all depends on where you are in your career, of what you can take away from the program. So that was the why. And then I guess the how of what's like the nuts and bolts of the program itself and what was it like in the program. So as I mentioned, it's a mixed format where for about 3 weeks before the module starts, the semester starts, you're doing the pre-reading. So you're reading case studies, you're reading the books that a lot of times the professors themselves wrote the book on the subject. So you're reading, the assigned chapters, sometimes joining Zoom calls and doing live, virtual screen share sessions on a technical subject. And then once you've done your homework for those first 3 weeks, you're in class for that core module of the semester. So during that week, it's a 9 to 5, usually Monday to Saturday schedule. So it's definitely full time for that 1 week. And again, that's why a lot of us chose it as well. That I think 70% maybe were working full time. So you only have to take off for a week at a time every couple weeks. So there's 6 modules. So it's only about 5 weeks, 6 weeks of actual time away, and during that time you are full-time immersed in the program. So during those days, the classes are usually structured like you're taking, say, statistics, and it's maybe Monday and Tuesday, and then you're taking artificial intelligence, and that's Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday is your third class, which might be machine learning. So that gives you 2 full days with a professor, basically getting all the instruction time that you would get, just taking those 1 hour sessions here and there for an entire semester if you were doing a traditional, like a 4-year degree. So that's what the format is. And then the 3 weeks after the module, so after you've had that intensive week of going through 3 classes back to back to back, you have 3 weeks to do the post-module work, which is, again, additional practice exercises and assignments to make sure you understand the material that was taught in person. And the in-person, which is, it's lectures like you'd expect at a traditional university where you're working on case studies together, you're solving problems, but again, in person. So the professor is instructing you, working through the problems with you. You're breaking out into small groups because it's a full day. So it's 8 hours of instruction. So there are times where you're doing problems in small groups during that class. You're listening to lectures, looking through theories, and hearing from guest speakers. It's a really awesome experience, that in person. And again, why I really chose it, because you're really building that bonds and connections. So you're in class for 8 hours a day, and then because a lot of the class, is traveling from across the country, across the globe to be here in either New York at the NYU campus or one of the other campuses like Abu Dhabi, that you're going out for dinner afterwards. You're just hanging out, learning from each other, and really building those bonds of that alumni network. So it's a really cool experience. And that in person, looking back on it now, I think that was definitely a wise decision. That the in person just can't be beat. I've formed these bonds of friendships. We still have our group chat going on. And there's obviously people you connect with more than others. You're not going to like everyone. Even though I was the class rep, I feel like I did met everyone, and I love my whole classmate. But of course, you click with some more than others, and we still chat to this day. It's only 6 months, but I feel we've definitely formed lifelong bonds and friendship that I could message anybody in the cohort anytime, and they have my back, I have their back with anything they need. So that was the class itself, and then the curriculum. Again, why NYU? Why the MSBAi program? It's that, as I mentioned, the bridging of business and analytics. So there's classes on data-driven decision making, theoretical classes on kind of management styles, but a lot of it has in, like a STEM designated, which it is, a STEM component. So you're learning regressions, learning some of these statistical concepts that the professors are teaching you of how to do an analysis, but then they'll take it a step further of what's kind of the business context. Why are we doing this? What are we hoping to achieve? So it's that blend of kind of both sides. It is a very technical, I won't lie, it's definitely a technical program, but it's not full on theory like I think a data science program would be. I didn't obviously take a data science program, but you learn a lot of data science concepts here, but more from the analytical side. So you are taking, artificial intelligence, machine learning, data mining, stuff that would use in an analytics position. I think maybe the business analyst, because it's business analytics kind of role, really encompasses what that is. And I've done those roles before where you're the bridge between the technology side and the business stakeholders. So you're translating concepts, and through this program, you're equipped to talk the talk of data scientists and also have the skills that if you need to jump in, you can do the calculations yourself. So you want to, as we're taught, use these frameworks where you understand why they're choosing certain algorithms. You're understanding what they did to get the numbers, because as we know, data can be manipulated. You can kind of massage data to get the insights, and you want to, as a data leader, you want to make sure you're looking at the data the right way, looking at the right data to begin with. Is everyone aligned with the goals of the data? What are we trying to achieve? What insights are we trying to pull out? And how are we trying to drive the business forward? So these concepts were really, drawn into me in the early classes. So, thank you, of course, to some I don't want to say two favorite, but Anindo Ghost, who is our program director. His class on marketing analytics was great. And then Foster Provost, really amazing business analytics class where they teach some of the frameworks of kind of an analytical mindset and how to apply these analytics to, real life business problems. So those classes were really interesting. But then you also take plenty of other cool classes, like from Professor Sosolsky, who does a data visualization class. You learn some Python. And myself, having a programming background, it came very easy to me. But even if you didn't, we had a lot of people in our cohort who had zero programming experience going into this. That yes, it's kind of rough to learn Python in 3 weeks, but it's not as intensive that you need to learn the concepts, and you're definitely going to do some, calculations in R and Python, but you don't need to really learn data structures. You just need to learn the basic patterns to achieve analysis. You need to learn for loops and things of that nature. So you do need to learn basic programming, but not higher level, data structures and algorithms, which is a whole beast, and I can attest to that. Speaking a bit about cohort diversity, and everyone comes to this with different experience, and that is another strong point. So this program being that mix of technical and business, I really think the cohort really represented that we had a mix of, some people had a technical background, they were like financial planning analysts, and then some people were non-technical, they come from more of a management background. And so everyone learned something different from the program and took different things away. I know I did myself, having a technical, and that was a career pivot for me to get into the technical side and get a BS of computer science. But I also have a totally creative side where I was a wedding photographer for 12 years. So I really kind of bring both sides to, the program and to work in general. And I think that's a definitely strong suit of my own. And this program really encourages that blending of diversity. So when people ask me about applying, I think, you don't need to have to be a programmer. You don't need one specific mold, because the program in NYU itself really values that diversity of thought, that if you show that commitment to learning and that problem-solving, analytical, curious mind more than anything, that the skills you can pick up, they're going to teach you the skills along the way, and you're going to learn from your classmates those skills. But it's that bringing that curious mindset and wanting to uncover insights, I think, is key to more than anything, and it's key to being a good analyst in general. Being curious, staying curious, asking tough questions, just problem solving in general is that's the key attribute to succeeding in this program and any kind of technical analytical field. So that's a little bit about the program and the day-to-day, and then how did it help me and what I take away from it now that I graduated. So in addition to the classes, you also do a capstone project, which I thought was interesting, and I liked that idea of completing a project that you work on in a group throughout your entire time in the program. So you're put into small groups, you choose your groups and kind of form groups together where you choose a problem and you pitch problems. So these student pitched ideas eventually kind of coalesce into a thesis of, we want to solve this real world business problem using the tools we're going to learn in the program. So it's a semester long, a program long, where your goal of, you're given a mentor or another professor at NYU to guide your research and analysis as you uncover real business insights, uncovering a trend or making suggestions like you would in the real world. So it's kind of a real world business problem, and they're student led. So it's the problems that we ended up doing as our cohort were usually ones pitched by people where it's their current company or they had access to data, and it was the real life business problem that someone in the group was facing in their own business. And then as a kind of small analyst group, we formed together as project managers and analysts and tackled the problem, developed insights, and present our report at the end along with our findings and all of the regressions and statistics and models we used to uncover those insights, and present them in an executive report, like to the C-suite, which are the judges for the program, of our findings and our methodology of how we uncover those insights. So that was a great experience to get that real world experience on your resume. In my case, it was a marketing analytics program where we uncovered insights of path to purchase. So we used some techniques of marketing mix modeling, MMM, and MTA, which is multi-touch attribution, to see the customer journey from first going to the website and what touch points of ads and influences their decision to get to purchasing. So really interesting. And again, that was just our personal one where our group kind of gravitated to this marketing problem, and there were other problems not in the marketing domain, whether it's e-commerce and some other areas. Then you're paired with a professor who has expertise to guide our research and our analysis in that area. So how did it help me at the end now that I'm done? So during the program, I did transition from an HR program manager role to a pure analyst role. So I was one of the many career changers in our cohort. So if you're watching this in 2025, we all graduate in 2024, and anyone will know that, the market, if you're watching this in the future, 2024, 2023, it was a little rough for tech, lots of tech layoffs. And now in 2025, maybe not getting that much better, but this is equipping us with the tools for success. And I can say myself and a handful of others in our program either transitioned from wherever they were in or leveled up in their current job, whether promotion or, like I said, a totally new industry, totally new career through the program. So was it the NYU name? Was it the students? Obviously there's always a ton of factors that influence anything. The person's background, having another great company, it might be influenced it. Was it just the degree? But I think the fact that so many of us switched during the program is a testament to the program, that it's giving you these, skills and experiences that employers value, especially now as we enter this age of ChatGPT and, as of 2025, DeepSeek and the whole competition space in artificial intelligence. So the program is very modern. When we went through it in 2024, we still got tons of courses on machine learning and artificial intelligence, talking about LLMs and all these analytical techniques, these data science techniques that are really have been around forever, even though now we're, of course, seeing the commercial application in large language models and generative AI. But the fundamentals that have been there forever, and these professors at NYU have been doing research in this area, making data-driven decision and predictive analytics for decades. So that experience and that depth and breadth of experience in the generative AI space, when it was just machine learning and just analytics, even though now in the common vernacular it's AI, everything's AI hype, but the fundamentals are there, and that's what you learn in the program. You learn about the machine learning techniques and, again, how they apply to business. What's the use case? Why should we choose these techniques? Or when do we use an LLM model or other data mining techniques to uncover insights? So I think it has a lot of real world applications, and it will really, again, if that's the direction you want to go, you can go from level up from a management style. We had a lot of consultants in our cohort as well. So you're consulting on implementing these things, and like myself or others that transition to an analyst role where you're actually doing the calculations. So you can lean into your strengths on the technical side or on the management side because you're equipped to do both, and you bring that experience of all that together having gone through this program. And lastly, I'll just talk a little bit about just general thoughts on career changing. So I'm a career changer, and I think it really did help me a lot of give me that experience to pivot from one career to the other and draw on those unique skills. And then also being an older student, I think the hybrid format in general was a real, strength to it, that I only had to commit to a week of in-person classes. That yes, you're studying on weekends, on nights. Any program is going to be a time commitment. You really need to carve out, 2-3 hours a night plus weekends to do all of your homework, all of your reading. But the fact that it's self-paced means that if something comes up either with work or family during the weekday, you can cram more here and there, do a little work on your weekend. You can manage your time to fit your schedule. That's the flexibility of this hybrid format. And then because you're in school for a week in person, you're locked in, you're there, you really have to focus on the class. And that's what everyone was. Everyone that's flew into New York, we're all in class together. We're locked in. We're not, we're committed because we're there. We know it's only those 2 days that we have with that professor. So everyone's really motivated to learn and get the most from their time and from their money, from their tuition while they're taking that class and in class with these world-class professors, learning these techniques that we want to apply to our careers and really get the ROI, get the value out of this degree. So all in all, I had a super positive experience. I was class rep, so I'm a little biased because I met everyone. I'm a little bit introverted. I have this, STEM background. I love solving problems, but I also maybe like this video. I like talking to people and connecting with others. So I had a great time meeting my cohort, having those strong bonds, and just meeting everyone, learning from everyone and everyone else's experience. The support network at NYU. So while at NYU, I took advantages of their career services. You get lifelong access to their career services through Stern. I went to workshops on the Entrepreneur Institutes. I just maximized my time in that year of being an NYU student at all that NYU has to offer. I think that was a great experience, and I am so happy that I did this program, that I completed my MSBAi, the Master of Science in Business Analytics and AI at NYU Stern. I'm so proud to be a Stern alumni, and I can't say enough great things about the program. So if you have any additional questions, people always find me on LinkedIn, maybe as a class rep, because I do post on LinkedIn a lot. But feel free to reach out either in the comments of this video or on LinkedIn or on email of any questions you may have about the MSBAi AI program. NYU in general, Stern life, is it for me? What's it like as a career changer, as an older student with a family, or just in general? I'm happy to connect you with anyone from the program that I know, some other fellow cohort mates, either from current cohorts, past cohorts. I've met a lot of people. So thanks for checking out this video and learning about the NYU MSBAi program. Again, my name is Zach, and have a great day.